of things that Tom mentioned. First of all, for the Las Vegas Raiders, they did agree to terms with several free agents, spending more than $280 million in free agents. Those are going to stand. They can take Maxx Crosby back, his contract back, and my understanding that is exactly what is going to happen. And when Maxx Crosby left the Raiders several days ago, when we thought he left the Raiders, it was one of the NFL's worst rosters. They have spent a lot of money to bolster that roster. He now returns to the team with all eyes focused on being a member of the Raiders, getting his rehab right, and moving forward to a team that still needs a quarterback. They're going to get one with the number 1 overall pick, almost certainly Fernando Mendoza. But this team is now much better based on the players they acquired than it was. For the Baltimore Ravens, the term buyer's remorse is something that does come up a lot, not just from Tom, but certainly something I've heard in conversations with general managers and coaches last night. To that, I would say the Ravens wanted this to work. They wanted Maxx Crosby to be on their team. They wanted to send 2 first-round picks to the Raiders for the rights to one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. They wanted it all to happen, and when it seemed like it was falling apart, they still tried to make it work. They just were not comfortable with the medical. They were not comfortable that the player they believed they were acquiring was going to be at a point where he could play to the level that they all thought. It all sucks. There's a lot of blame or whatever you want to say, responsibility to go around. But I think it is safe to say most people involved wanted this to happen. They just could not make this work.
LA, you've been waiting patiently while we deliver the raw information. We have Jason Gambetta, we have Shelby Harris, and I know you guys have thoughts on this. Really strange time. It's not dire and heavy. It's just football. It's fun. It's interesting. What are your thoughts on everything that's going on with Maxx Crosby to the Ravens, back to the Raiders?
Honestly, this is tough. I'm not even sure what to say. Look, I tore my meniscus my last year in the league. I had a trim. Obviously, Maxx Crosby had a full repair. My recovery is about 6 to 10 weeks. He is 8 weeks post-ops. Obviously, it is a longer recovery. It's not like Maxx Crosby was out there training last week, cutting around, running hoops, practicing pass rush drills, and he did something and tried to keep it quiet. The trade went through, and then the Ravens caught it. That's not the situation here. And the reality is, if I'm any other team, unless Lamar Jackson or Kyle Hamilton is on the trade block, I'm not even picking up the phone for the Baltimore Ravens. There's a lot of trust issues now with this organization. I'm not sure exactly how this could happen for a player of this magnitude. I have not seen it in my lifetime, especially not at this point in time. It would be one thing if this was training camp and the waiver wire hit and they claimed a player from another team. He came in after 4 to 6 weeks of a training camp, had an injury, and then they find out then. Like Ian, like Tom said, this has been completely documented from the get-go. And for them to not have done their due diligence and to get cold feet, it's honestly embarrassing.
Yeah, the Ravens should really have to explain themselves. You know, the only people where we've heard from in this whole situation is the Raiders is saying that the trade didn't go through. The Raiders went through this whole offseason with the expectation that Maxx Crosby was not going to be there. You know, they wanted to make the deal happen. So they sent him to Baltimore, and so they went through the offseason. Also, like, they went and got Malcolm Kuntz. They retained him. They went and signed Kwity Paye. Like, you already went and signed 2 replacements for Maxx Crosby. And now he comes back, and you were expecting to have 2 first-round picks. If anyone, I feel awful for the Raiders in this situation because first-time head coach out here, you know, really first free agency, and now everything's just getting unraveled, and you have to kind of really quick adjust and make a backup plan. So the Raiders are in a tough position here, but really the Ravens are, you know, it's tough because who's going to want to do deals with them now? They just really set a precedent that's not a good one, and the Ravens are really going to pay for it later.
Listen, that's why I keep saying that. I want to hear from the Ravens. I really respect the Ravens. The Ravens are one of the top organizations. They handle their business properly normally. And it could be that they come out and say, listen, Max's agent can say whatever he wants. Max's surgeon can say whatever he wants. All these other GMs who are throwing shade at us can say whatever we want. Our doctors hated what they saw on Maxx Crosby's knee. They implored us, don't make this trade. It's not, I'm making this up. Is this the truth? It must have been. They must have absolutely been shocked and awed by what they saw in there, and it's not what they expected. Or There's a lot of conspiracy theories about what could be going on here. A lot of things have happened with the Ravens. I mentioned the name Trey Hendrickson again. Just follow me here. If the Ravens decide, oh, you know what? Actually, we like Trey Hendrickson because we need a pass rusher. Okay, so then you would decide to get one that you don't need to give up any picks for, that is going to be significantly less money, and you sat there for the last few days and watched no one sign him and no one get Trey Hendrickson. You're like, well, hold on. What if we can get – I'm not saying that. This is all conjecture. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But they do need to make some moves now because you got to have a defense next year, and you just had the pass rusher that is now poof gone. I just would love to hear from Baltimore. They usually have very good PR. They have very good communication. In my opinion, this is the time when the entire league is throwing flamethrowers at them, and I want to hear a statement. I want to hear something, some kind of explanation.